So guys, welcome back to my channel. So the footage you guys just saw was from a fish I caught last week out at Reservation Lake. I was home for a couple days and it's been one of the days out at the lake fishing. The bad thing was I went out with the intention to fish and film and put it up on YouTube. So I got back home on Friday and realized that I broke my SD card. Sadly, the footage I got from Reservation Lake, none of it's gonna be able to go up. The only footage I have from Reservation Lake is just the footage of the fish that I caught. But it was a nice fish. Probably about 22-23 inch range. Pretty sweet looking fish, had some nice spots on it and was colored up pretty orange. I'm out on the lake today doing some lake fishing, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys my little boat that I have set up. This is a little tiny boat that I've had for years. It's just a small little pontoon boat. I bought it for like 200 bucks for the price. I can't beat it. I've used it a bunch and I still had it all these years. I'm going to be fishing Loch style today. What that means when I'm fishing Loch style is basically I'm going to have the wind at my back and I'm going to be moving toward my flies every time I cast it out. I'm going to be using the wind to push me, so if I'm going to be fishing the banks, I'll move out off the bank a few hundred yards and then use the wind to slowly push me in whatever direction I'm in. One of the main reasons why I fish this style is because in the world of competitive angling, all the lake fishing you do is Loch style, and usually you're fishing in a boat. So if you're fishing with another angler, it's pretty good because you can sit next to each other and then fish against each other, both with the wind at your back, fishing Loch style. But since I'm here practicing, all I have is this little boat. This is how I fish Loch style. And one of the main things for fishing Loch style that you kind of need, you don't really need if you're fishing in a little pontoon boat like mine, but is a drogue or a drift sock. While it does, it acts like a little parachute and it slows down your drift while you're out on the lake. Fishing Loch styles is one of my favorite ways to fish. I've been fishing lakes my whole life and I kind of wish I would have known about Loch style a lot sooner. It's simple concept. It's basically you're moving on instead of trolling and moving over the fish or parking like with the anchor. You're actually moving toward the fish that haven't been driven over yet. A little different when you're first getting used to it. One of the main things is you need a lot of different fly lines to be able to fish different depths, but overall it's still just So I made my way across the lake. This is where I'm going to start. Fast glass line is what I'm starting out with. I'm just going to work these banks. So the wind just picked up. It's kind of a good thing though. It's going to keep me moving. My goal was to just work up this bank and fish the shore. But we got the wind picking up. And the wind is good for two things when you're Loch style fishing. First off, it gets you moving. It's a lot better to fish with the wind moving. And then also it gets the water moving, gets the food moving around. Gets the food moving around, and it'll also help you get the fish moving around. So wind is always not necessarily a bad thing. In a way, it's kind of a good thing for Loch style fishing. Gets the food moving around. Here we go, first fish of the day. Finally. Just fishing up this bank. Man, it's a feisty fish, strong, surprised me, hit pretty hard. Not that big of a fish, but strong fish. Nice little rainbow. Healthy. It's not a real giant fish, maybe 14 inch, but healthy, fat, nice stomach. First fish of the day on the board. So like I just mentioned earlier, I was just talking about that the wind is pretty important with Loch style fly fishing because it helps you to get moving, helps the water to get moving. The water moving gets the food moving, and I'll usually get the fish moving. Also, the chop in the water will usually move the fish higher up in the water column too. When it's really glassy and calmed, they'll usually sit deeper and be a little harder to catch. But once the wind starts picking up, it'll usually get good. And as you saw there, right when I was talking about it, got the first fish of the day on. Here, go another one. Feisty fish. Oh, it's a nice rainbow. Nice rainbow. Yeah. It's a good 17, 18 inch rainbow. Damn. Not bad for the second fish of the day. Oh yeah. Fat rainbow. Not real big, it's maybe like 16-inch range, but it's got a good stomach on there. Took a black semi-seal leech. Switched up to a type 5. I wasn't having much luck with the fast glass line. I had 2 fish on, but covered maybe 200 yards of water and only had the 2 fish and didn't have any other bites. So go a little deeper and see how that works. Hopefully we can get into more fish, but so far I've been fishing about maybe 45 minutes. Got 2 fish on the board. I just switched from a fast glass to a type 5, so we'll see if that makes a difference. The wind's kind of picked up a lot more, and I'm just kind of doing the same thing I was earlier. I'm just kind of working this bank. I'm about maybe 50-60 yards out from the bank and just working my way down north to the north end of the lake. So hopefully 5 will make a difference. Here we go, another one finally. Oh, dropped him. Alright guys, I'm switching to a type 3 now. I had on a type 5 for a bit. I drifted maybe like 200 yards with a type 5 on, and I only had a few hits. And that's about it. I didn't even catch a fish with a type 5, so I'm moving up to a type 3. So earlier I drifted by this rock and had a few takes, so I'm going to go back through it again, but this time with a type 3, see if that makes a difference. But I was getting a few hits through there, so hopefully this type 3 will get a few more fish. The fast glass really wasn't working good, so I went to a 5, and 5 didn't really work good at all either, so maybe a 3. Here we go, finally. Little guy. Whoa, that took forever to get another fish. So I caught that nice rainbow about an hour ago, and it's taking me that long to get another one. And it's just a little tiny little brook trout. Little guy. Here we go, finally got another one on. Feisty fish too. Another healthy rainbow on finally. Yeah. So another rainbow, not real big again, but really healthy, pretty fat. Here we go. Yeah, oh, dropped him. So right now I'm just kind of fishing my way back to the car, slowly kicking back. But while I was home last week, I got a few people coming to me and just kind of ask me how I catch fish on the res and like different techniques I use. And so right now on the reservation, one of the better techniques to catch fish at the lakes anyway is going to be streamer fishing. Personally, I don't use any real giant streamers when I fish. I fish a lot of smaller streamers is what I'm normally have a lot of luck with out there. But a few different things to keep in mind, I guess, when you're pulling streamers is don't always just do the same 8 to 10 inch pull every time. Mix it up a little bit. Do quick, short, fast pulls, and then pause a few seconds, and then quick, real fast pulls again, or just do the whole pull really fast, or slow it down a little bit. Just kind of vary your pulls. Don't just keep the same cadence going. You have to mix it up a little bit. That helps. One thing about the boat is when I'm fishing in a boat, sometimes I'm moving, so sometimes I'm just trying to stay in front of the drift and keep my flies moving faster than the boat is. But if you're fishing from the shore, you can really mix it up. One technique I like to do normally is I like to do a figure eight. So this is called a figure eight right here. If you can see, I pull the line up like that and then just crush it over on itself. So that's kind of how I like to fish. It's kind of my go-to technique when I'm first starting out, is just to figure eight. And with the figure eight, same thing, you can vary fast or do a few fast and then pause and then a few slow. Same thing with that. You don't always want to keep the same cadence going unless you figure it out. Unless you figure the fish out, and then you can kind of keep the same cadence going, but don't always get stuck doing it. The last retrieve that I'll use sometimes when I'm out on the lakes, and you can use this time of the year, especially when you're pulling buggers, it really helps. If you're fishing nymphs, then maybe like a real slow figure eight is probably the best. Long slow pulls or just a real slow figure eight is the best to use. But one thing you can do is put the rod against hold the rod under your arm like that, and then hold the line here, and then just pull the two lines in as fast as you can. It's called a rollie pollie. Mainly I'm using this in the springtime when I'm fishing for like stock fish. It's a real good stocky bashing technique. Not so much a good this time of the year. I feel like they like their trees a little slower, but if they're wanting real faster trees, this is the way to go. I took a chance when I first got here today. I went straight across from where I was parked, and then I let the wind carry me all the way to the back of the lake, to the north end of the lake, and I expected it to be pretty good. I expected to catch a bunch of fish, and it was pretty tough. I haven't caught very many fish today, maybe 5 or 6. Caught a few nice fish. Caught a few nice fish, but it's been really tough overall. I haven't really figured any patterns out, and the fish I have caught, I felt like it's just as long as I've been able to get my fly in front of them, I feel like they've eaten it, but maybe I just haven't really been into very many fish yet. But I was here in the summertime, and in the summertime when I was here, I did catch a bunch of fish near the boat dock and caught a bunch, so I expected it to be even better this time. I was here, middle of summer, it's pretty hot, and I expected to come out here in the fall and it to be even better than it was then, but that kind of hasn't been the case today. It's been really tough.